And let's introduce the first session of this Open Gateway DevCon. It will explore how can operators supercharge the network API community. This session will be moderated by Kathy Azafar, Head of Engineering at Aduna. Welcome, and thank you very much.
Can you hear me? I am Kathy Azafar, Head of Engineering at Aduna. And what we do at Aduna, essentially, Aduna is a connector of networks. It's a joint venture between Ericsson and many of, and you saw only 3 of our partners, many of our operators that we connect and we provide network APIs. I know we talked about APIs, but think about that. Just last year, in 2024, almost 500 billions were lost due to fraud. And possibly many of us have been directly or indirectly have been impacted by that. So using the network API, we are reaching to the gold mine, that information that's in the network, in the mobile network, and we bring it up through the network API, through camera API, to the finger points of developers so you can benefit from that. And what are the problems we are solving? We are solving fraud. We are solving fraud by location verification, SIM swap. We will know if the SIM has been recently swapped, so we can protect that. We would know that if this number verified, we verify the number, so we help with the fraud areas. We can improve the quality of service if you request if you are in gaming. So if you want to have a good experience with gaming, it's a programmable network. You actually call quality of demand quality. So that's give you that option. If you are for telemedicine, it's very important that they have a very good bandwidth, so they will use that as well. Or if you are, for IoT devices, you can get the location information from the system. So these are gold mine, and these are just a sample of data that's in the mobile network that is not available, easily available through the APIs. And when you say through APIs, we want to make it simple, we want to make it a standard, we want to solve the problem of security, privacy, and regulation. So this is when you developers, you sit there, you just think about coming up with innovative ideas. We are bridging the gap between telcos and between industry. So this is really exciting, for me at least, it's very exciting to be part of this journey that we are changing how telco works and how technology works. We are bridging that gap by bringing that functionality to your finger points. However, we have one of the challenges telco has been facing is that how to engage developers, how to bring this information to you. So I'm sure many of you may say, give me an SDK, give me a sandbox, and I will figure it out. And I think many have been trying to do that, but it hasn't moved so far. So that is one of the challenges it's one of the biggest challenges we have that we want to solve with your support, with our with operator partners to solve that. And that's what Aduna is, kind of bringing network operator, bringing the knowledge of Ericsson network together and try to solve this problem together with your participation. I would like to invite our panelists here that are from operators. If you can join me here on the stage. Thank you. Yes. If I may, if you can start introducing yourself, I appreciate that.
Sure. Pleasure to be with you here today. I'm not.
Can you guys hear?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Can you hear?
Okay. I'm Otilia, Anton, Director of Orange LiveNet, Managing Network API Business as Orange.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all here at MWC. So my name is Jo Wood, and I am the Director of Network APIs for Vodafone, and I look after kind of the full Vodafone estate across Europe and Africa.
And I'm Fernando Guillot. I work for Telefónica, I'm in charge of developer relations globally, but starting from universities all the way to big corporations. So I'm trying to keep track of what's going on there.
Okay, very good. So let's jump into the questions. One of the big challenges for network API adoption is how to attract, engage, and nurture the developers community. What has your organization done to make it easier for developers to work with you? What will be doing next?
So Orange has been among the early adopters and supporters of Open Gateway and Camara. We truly believe in this initiative because we think it's a natural move towards opening up network capabilities for them to be easily accessible to the digital ecosystem. So that's why we have been working and providing our APIs on developer.orange.com. Some of them were even used for the event today. So you'll keep finding our APIs there and developer tools, sandboxes, mockups, as well as production grade. In parallel to that, of course, we have been engaging with key partners among the operators, with Telefónica, with Vodafone, and as well as Aduna, Nokia, and to address scalability and facilitate, of course, security, data privacy, the topics that were limiting us in the past when we tried to approach APIs. So at Orange, we consistently strive to ease the access and provide tools. And we are very keen on your feedback today on what would you need to use this better, what are the key use cases, and we really appreciate this event taking place today for that.
Thank you.
I would echo a lot of what Otilia said. So from a Vodafone point of view, I think we absolutely have a role to play so that when we see somebody using the API, we can share best practice, we can share use cases, we can share user stories. We have built the best tooling we can in terms of sandbox capabilities, great documentation, and et cetera, et cetera. But I think the reality is I would be surprised if many of the developers in this room want to come to Vodafone to engage with these API products. So I would say the most important thing that we're trying to do is actually to put the products somewhere which are useful to the developer community. So whether that's into the likes of Azure or Google or AWS, or with our colleagues over with Nokia Network as Code, with whom we've been doing the hackathon, but ultimately trying to get our products into the environments where it's easier for you guys to work with them, build them into products or services, or combine them with APIs from other places. So I think that's probably the key role that we can play, and that's where we've been focusing our efforts.
Thank you.
Yeah, so from our side, it's a little bit of the same. So this initiative is all about developers. So obviously, we're trying to make sure that you have the best tools, you have the best platform and the best documentation so that you can consume this and you can know how it works. So we've been working on very thorough documentation where there's examples of code in 20 development languages. And we're doing all sorts of things to allow developers to come to us and to understand the platform. But obviously, and Joe was talking about it's best if we partner with hyperscalers and other channel partners, and we're doing that as well. We're making sure that this experience that you as developers are going to get is the best possible way in these environments, because what we're trying to manage is that you can use this not only for Telefónica, but for Vodafone, for Orange, and for Dutch Telecom, for Vivo, for Claro, for anywhere in the world where you have a SIM card, you will be able to use it. And for that, we need to partner with these hyperscalers. And so that's what we're doing. We're partnering with them. We're doing events with them. We're going to where developers are. So we're building the tools so that you can use them, but we want you to consume them where you are more comfortable consuming them.
And I guess it's pretty good that we've all got a relatively similar approach and a similar strategy, because with the best will in the world, having access to some of a market is interesting, but if you want to build a service for all of Spain, actually, you need services from Telefónica, from Vodafone, and from MasOrange to put those elements together. So I think that's what we're trying to do, is to come together, to put these products in the same place for you guys to use them, and hopefully to innovate for for Spain and for many other markets.
Thank you. How do you see the API market evolving? And how do you see adoption of network API-based services changing the next 12 months?
Well, there was a huge acceleration on the market ever since Open Gateway was initiated. There have been so many projects ongoing, so more than 58 networks provide today network APIs, more than 28 markets worldwide. And now, at this moment at MWC, running in parallel, we see so much positive effect from a lot of markets. Especially today, some of you had the opportunity to work with production-grade APIs in Spain or on all major networks, so that's really key. And I really think this momentum, and especially also with the creation of Aduna as well, and with all partners across the digital ecosystem, is helping shape this proposal. One of the key messages is how do we keep this feedback loop, and how do we continue contributions to Camara to make sure that we approach together the best APIs first, and how do we manage the lifecycle management of the APIs to make this smooth. So in terms of market, at Orange, we'll have early this year 4 markets available. We started in Spain, then France, now we have Poland and Belgium upcoming, and we continue to open market by market. So our ambition is to provide you with the whole footprint and continue to work with key partners to make this consistent, right? To stop doing like specific conditions from one network to another, but to make this easy to work with, easy to have access to them.
I'd say similar. So we have services where we can see the opportunity. They're working well in one market, and we want to scale them right the way across the Vodafone estate. So there's definitely a focus to bring more of the coverage across the geography. We also have a sense as to the new APIs that will come through and will come to market. But look, we're not innovating in a vacuum. We're not sort of dreaming up the APIs that come next. I think what we're really keen to do is engage through the likes of Camara with the developer community, so that really we can hear from you guys as to what are the services that you would be interested in us developing and us progressing. We can make services available, we can put them in our sandbox environments, you can have a play, you can give us feedback. So I think we have some which we did that for last year, and so we know those ones will be rolled out, they will be scaled, that's great. But I think also having a kind of two-way conversation so we can determine what's the roadmap to come is a really important point. There's a Camara event happening later today, but I think having that conversation and engaging with the community, so it's not just on us to think about what products to build. I guarantee I would never have occurred to me to build a SIM swap API, for example, and yet it's super popular with the banks. So we're not always the best ones to innovate and to drive forward, but we're totally happy to take the input, let us know what's useful, what's not useful, and that can kind of help us determine where to focus our efforts.
Yeah, a bit of the same. So when we built this project, this is one of the most difficult projects I've ever been in. And obviously at the beginning, you're trying to get all the telcos engaged, you're trying to get hyperscalers and other channel partners engaged, and you're exposing the things that you have because you've been working in this for some time. But then obviously it becomes challenging to find out and listening to the customers and to the developers. And we're doing all sorts of things to do that. So we've just had the hackathon here. We've had a challenge in Santander X Challenge where we gave the prizes 2 or 3 hours ago. And we're listening to startups, scale-ups, and anyone who has a project that wants to say, okay, I have these problems, and I think the telco space has things or has capabilities that can help us obtain or fix these problems. And so that's what we're doing, right? So it's all about building the structure underneath and making sure that we have a good place to standardize APIs. But now it's the time to find out what the people really want or what the developers really want out of us. And then we'll talk between each other, we'll make sure that these APIs are there in the market, and then we'll just see them run. I mean, for now, we're seeing things like SIM-swap. Joe was talking about SIM-swap, and for example, in Spain, it's not so big, but if you go to Brazil, all the banks want to use SIM-swap, and they have an incredible amount of fraud detected by SIM-swap. But in Spain, it's not that popular. But then you find other things where, I don't know, maybe companies like TikTok or others are looking into this and saying, I really need information of the person that's connecting. Is he older than 18 or is he younger? Just so that I don't show inappropriate content. And that is information that we all have, that is all going through our networks. So we're just building this from the bottom up, but now we need your help, so yeah.
To add a bit on that, it's also about the momentum. So network is now becoming cloud native more and more. 5G standalone is available. We'll see more and more slicing opportunities. And so our opportunities together with AI to leverage network data in a much smarter and efficient way are there. And that can impact a long range of domains, from smart cities to entertainment to day-to-day services. And that's where we want to engage a lot more with you to make sure that we open up together the best features that will unlock new services.
Thank you. So as you heard, that we are at the time that we are ready. The operators are ready. Aduna has been made, with the joint venture, that we are bringing a scale, availability of network at a scale, for developer to actually interact with the networks through these APIs. Now it's the time for you to ask your question to kind of guide us through what else this is on top of your mind. So I think we can go to a Slido.
Questions.
Yeah, questions, okay. Do we have
so you can write up your question in the Slido, and you can vote for each other's questions as well.
So while you're writing down questions, things that, when I was talking before, the things that we're doing here for developers, I'm really proud because of one thing that we're trying in Spain, and it's working pretty well, is we're trying to add Open Gateway to the curriculum in universities. So we're trying to get students engaged with Open Gateway so that when they come out of the universities, they know how to fix certain problems using these APIs, because for now we only have, I don't know, 40 or 45 APIs that are standardized, but we're going to have many more, and getting it out there is really nice. Okay. Oh, best way. You want to ask the questions or?
Hey, you can vote for each other's question as well. If you have the same question, please vote for that. Let's just start with the bottom one. What are the best use? What happened?
Do you want to lead us through the questions, or?
I think the question is escaping me. So I think the question I was reading was, what is the best API in industry right now? Let's just start with that. Oh.
Should I take the
Real
one at
the top one?
Yeah, should I take the one at the top?
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
let's
happy to
start with the top, yeah.
Sure, happy. So I think I'm answering question one. They're jumping around for us. So apologies, this is why we look so baffled. The questions are refocusing. So let me talk you through some real applications or projects using the APIs that we're referencing, right? So there's a couple that spring to mind, and then there's more on the way. So there's a product that actually was announced. We have had in industry for a little while. We announced last year at Mobile World Congress a product called Number Verify. So for those of you that are familiar or have ever experienced an SMS where you want to authenticate yourself, you're trying to log in, you get sent a one-time code, you have to enter it. We have an API that basically changes that experience, so it's completely seamless. So there's no exchange by message or nothing. The experience can be completely seamless to log in via your phone number. Actually, there's been a progression on that product. So Google were talking about that product here at MWC and how they are going to actually bake that product in as part of their Firebase offering. But what that means is for companies that are building an e-commerce experience like an Airbnb or a PayPal, for example, rather than always having to sign up with an email address and use a username for a site that you may not use very often, you can use your phone number to log in or to authenticate almost with zero touch. So Number Verify is the product. We absolutely have it launched in Spain, we have it launched in the UK and in France, I believe, and in many other European markets. So there's one example from a Number Verify product.
Can I add to this? If you stay until the end, we have Cabify. Anyone know Cabify in the room? Cabify? Cabify is using number verification, and he's going to show it on stage. He's going to show code, and he's going to show how he's implemented this super easily in 2 weeks. And they're going to showcase it this afternoon. So Laura and Pablo will show you all the code needed to do this. And in a real environment, you'll see exactly the difference between using SMS to do the validation or just using network verification. So number verification, sorry.
To add maybe to some of those examples, so you have real applications using location, population density, especially for managing in an anonymized way smart city services. We use that, for instance, in Paris for the Olympic Games. It was not an open gateway API then. We are working towards publication with the population density API. But that is a day-to-day application on how can we better manage logistics for large-scale events, even for one of these, or like MWC running right now. And in addition to that, of course, so one of the questions was, are we working together?
Yeah.
And of course, we work together to make sure that we open the same APIs, that we give similar features at the same time. And one precise example in Spain is the work with I2CAT. Yeah. Fernando, maybe you would like to present that?
Yeah, well, Irene is the one to talk about I2CAT because it's a complex project. But,
yeah, I mean, just to give you a quick flavor of it, there we work with a partner named Laude, and we use geolocation for the security of persons. And we see a replicability of the use cases. So we have the APIs, we see replicable use cases, and what we're looking for in the engagement is also what are, I would say, the most valuable ones, right? What are the ones that would unlock most efficiency? Because the second question was about money and how do we monetize. So we are very eager to understand what are the levers for innovation, how to adjust, how to make sure that we provide the necessary support to make this happen. And at the same time that we focus together on what's most impactful in terms of use case.
I think there was a question before about how many operators have launched the Number Verify product we were talking about. There is actually a finder. If you go to the GSMA Open Gateway website, you'll see a map of all of the different products, what's available, which operators have launched them. I think there's even like interactive maps. So that's one way to get a really good idea, but there is quite significant coverage already from a kind of scale and global perspective. And certainly there is coverage for those products in the Spanish market. So Spain is definitely covered, and I think you can see on the GSMA website the kind of other coverage. I think maybe just on the best way to make money from APIs, it seems pretty popular. You guys keep coding for that. So look, I think it depends. There is an ecosystem here, right? So from an operator's point of view, there are services that we can create that we think are useful, both for the developer community, but ultimately for our joint customer, right? You know, the customer of Vodafone that is using this application on the Vodafone network, or the customer of Telefónica, for example. The banking example is a fantastic one, right? So from our point of view, typically there is a small charge for using those API calls. It may be per transaction. It may be a subscription service. It may be there are a number of different kind of options when it comes to charging. Different APIs will be charged for in different ways. It may also be that the developer platform that you're working with may provide some kind of revenue share. So that's kind of what's in it from an operator point of view in terms of making money. From a developer point of view, when you think about the business outcomes that it could drive, so if you think about the bank or Airbnb or PayPal, why would they use a phone number as a verifier, right, on the app? And the main story there is ease of use and conversion, right? If you are an e-commerce app and the customer says, oh, fantastic, I want to buy this product, and you go through the buy journey and you hit the screen that says, enter, if you want to check out, enter your username and password, and you think, oh, actually, it's been 6 months since I used this app, or 9 months, I can't remember, I forgot my password. You've gone through, the moment's gone, right? You've got to rush off and do whatever you were doing. But, everybody knows their phone number, so you can put your phone number in, user verification against the phone number, and the checkout and the conversion can go up quite significantly and we've seen some fantastic results with a lot of our e-commerce partners in that space.
I'd like also to address very quickly.
Unfortunately, our time is up.
The skills one. So there was several questions on skills. So everyone can try out these APIs. Each one of us can provide support in terms of trials and, of course, with partners. So the initiative is open to anyone that wants to contribute from a programming perspective.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, our time is up. We had very short time to hear. I know there is a lot of more questions, and we would love to sit and listen to our panelists, but thank you so much, everybody.
You can catch us around. We're going to be here all afternoon, so yeah, please do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.